A Russian drone strike overnight on the Ukrainian city of Vinnytsia left at least 8 people injured and firefighters battling blazes in several buildings, officials said on Wednesday. According to Associated Press, Russian strikes pounded 4 Ukrainian cities overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Around 400 Shahid and decoy drones were launched by Moscow as well as 1 ballistic missile, the Ukrainian Air Force said. At least 15 people were injured in strikes that mostly targeted energy infrastructure, officials said. In Vinnytsia, 8 people were injured, 5 of whom sustained burns, the deputy head of regional administration Natalia Zabolotna said. She also reported damage to industrial facilities and at least 4 residential buildings. The latest bombardment in Russia's escalating aerial campaign came ahead of a September 2 deadline set by U.S. President Donald Trump for the Kremlin to reach a peace deal in the 3-year war, under the threat of possible severe Washington sanctions if it doesn't.
Ukraine now has one of the most combat-ready and powerful armies in Europe and has carried out unprecedented operations across multiple domains. Volodymyr Horbulin, first Vice President of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine, told this to Espresso TV. Ukraine has carried out several operations never before seen in warfare. It shot down a 12-ton helicopter using a 2-kilogram drone, destroyed a modern Su-30 aircraft in mid-air with a naval drone equipped with an anti-aircraft missile, and launched Operation Spiderweb deep inside Russian territory, an unprecedented attack that used drones to hit 4 Russian military airfields at once, destroying more than a dozen combat aircraft, including strategic nuclear weapons carriers. This, of course, isn't the full list of the Ukrainian Defense Forces' achievements, but it shows the high-tech level and uniqueness of Ukrainian combat operations. Some involved simultaneous actions across several domains. Ukraine is the first country in the world to systematically use unmanned systems in the air, at sea, and on land, and the partial mining of the Crimean Bridge in June 2025 shows we've entered a new domain, underwater, the expert said. According to him, multi-domain operations, fast, simultaneous, and intense, will define the future of warfare. Ukraine isn't yet able to carry out a full multi-domain strike like Israel did in June 2025. For now, asymmetric attacks serve as a substitute. Throughout the full-scale war, Ukraine's cheap, mass-produced weapons have effectively worn down Russia's expensive and high-powered arsenal. Horbulin also stressed that Ukraine has one of the strongest and most battle-ready armies in Europe. Any future war in the European theatre will be fought on the ground, and Ukraine is the only European country with strong infantry. Putin's aim to decapitate Ukraine is really about gaining near-total dominance over Europe, like Catherine the Great's idea that not a single cannon in Europe will fire without our permission, he said. Ukraine's ultimate goal, he believes, is to close the gap between complex, asymmetric operations and full-scale, multi-domain campaigns. We need to upgrade the army so it can fight across all available domains at once. He concluded, Ukrainian defenders have made tactical advances near Pokrovsk. Meanwhile, Russian occupiers continue to conduct offensive operations in most directions, but have failed to achieve success, according to a report by the Institute for the Study of War, ISW. According to geolocation images, the Ukrainian armed forces have advanced south from Udachny. Meanwhile, the enemy continues to attack in the direction of Pokrovsk, Rodinskoy, Vladimirovka, Krasny Liman, Razin, Mirny, Mirolayubovka, as well as in the directions of Promin, Lisovka, and Sergeyevka. The Russians recently tried to advance in the direction of Novopavlovka, in particular in the Novokatskoy area, but were unable to capture the settlement. The enemy is also conducting offensive operations in the direction of Volchansk and continues to attack the north of Sumy Oblast, but all to no avail. Analysts stress that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin's army has not achieved strategic results, while Ukrainian fighters continue to advance, holding the initiative in key areas. Recently, military expert, retired colonel of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, military pilot instructor Roman Svitan reported that the Russians are preparing a second wave of the offensive. According to him, the main pressure of Russian troops during the offensive campaign will be around September. There is no reason to talk about a weakening of the Russian offensive in the Zaporizhia and Donetsk directions. On the contrary, intensive preparations are underway for the second wave, and the second wave is already entering the prepared breakthroughs and should then enter the operational spaces, capturing a certain number of tens of kilometers of territory. This is how any operation is planned, Svitan said. The military expert recalled that Russia had launched a similar operation last year. According to him, the invaders first began to put pressure on the Donetsk, Avdiivka and Ocheretinsk directions, then broke through two Ukrainian front lines with the help of cabs, and then entered the operational space and stopped in the Pokrovsk area, where the Ukrainian armed forces did not allow the Russians to advance further. Now, the next stage is that the Russians will deploy the flanks, mainly the southern flank, and today Russian troops are exerting the greatest pressure in the Gulyapol-Pokrovsk area. The enemy is strengthening there. The enemy is also preparing in the area of Orekhovo, Pokrovsk, Konstantinovka, and northeast of Seversk. Therefore, preparations are underway for the second wave of introducing Russian reserves, Svitan explained. Svitan believes that the enemy's goal will be to advance in the direction of Orekhov, Gulyapol, Pokrovsk, Konstantinovka, Seversk, Liman, and Kupiansk. It is these cities that the enemy will put the most pressure on.